What's up, everybody? It's your boy Andrew L. Casey. You are now tuned into the Middle Initial Podcast. Today is Memorial Day, May 29th, 2023, and I'm here with my co-host Kevin A. Lewis. No Jude Jackson today. I think he's sitting by a lake, Kev, reading a book or maybe it's an anime binge weekend, but it's just me and you this weekend. Well, I mean, it's Monday, so it's just me and you on this holiday. How was your holiday weekend?
It was good, man. I'm so used to Jude not talking to us on weekends that just extending that for one more day doesn't really do anything for me. I'm so conditioned by this at this point that this doesn't move me in that way. My weekend was good though, man. I went to the stadium Sunday afternoon and I went to this chicken spot Sunday night, and I'm a big. I feel like you've had one chicken sandwich, you've had them all. Like I'm that guy.
Right.
I had one Sunday night. Like that rendered my statement a fucking lie. That shit was heat. It was like
What was that?
What the name of the it's fucking three numbers. It's like 357 chicken and fries, something like that, or 375. One of them.
It sounds similar to 123 Burger Shot and beer.
I haven't been to that place in eons, but no, this was 375 or 357. One of them. I think it's fries and chicken and fries, something like that. Yeah. Either way, that chicken sandwich, bro. And granted, this says a lot about how fat I am as a whole, but that I had that yesterday night, and it's been on my mind ever since, dog. Like that's how good.
Do you know how to get back there? It's a question.
No, I'd have to look up the address. But there's two locations. I think the other one's on the Upper West.
How'd you get there? What do you mean you don't know? How'd you get there? You stumbled upon it? Okay.
That's my car.
Okay.
There you go. That's all right. Cool.
Was it a young lady? You somebody's car?
Nah. No, it wasn't. No.
I can't.
No, for real, it wasn't. Not play. It wasn't. No, it wasn't. It was not. No. I was with Pedro, friend of the program, and his homie who was driving. So. Yeah.
Okay, I know, but I'm not gonna put Pedro's business out there, even though he already does. Shout out to Pedro. My weekend was cool. Let's see. Yesterday, barbecue with fam. Meeting with Chef Cream. Shout out to Chef Cream. We met up. We're discussing some business, some stuff we've been working on. Great stuff coming up. So you guys pay attention. We just dropped the. A lot of stuff happened for us, I should say. We just dropped the draft recap video of our second annual draft party. Just dropped the recap video. That was pretty dope. Shout out to Julius for that. Excellent video. And we just eclipsed 10,000 downloads officially. And that was also awesome for us. And I think people are asking like the difference between streams and downloads. I don't know how they count our stuff, if it's downloads or streams. I just know that we average about maybe 30 to 40, depending on which episodes per listen. So it's a labor of love to get to 10,000. Shout out to, of course, you, Kev, for all the hard work you do, Jude, Dan, and of course everybody on the Discord, the Patreons, the patrons. I'm supposed to shout out the patrons every week, man. I've been slipping, and no one's noticed. I'm supposed to shout out the patrons every week.
So it's so new to us. We'll get back.
So new to us. It's so new to us. I'm supposed to shout out the patrons every week. I gotta find the thing with the names. So I'll make sure I shout you guys out at the end. But yeah, it was a great, definitely a great weekend for us. Definitely a great weekend for, just in general. Wasn't really a great weekend for DeAndre Hopkins. If it depends on how you look at it.
Oh, I think he's happy as hell.
Right.
He's happy as hell.
But
out of there, yes.
In the sports world, interesting things happen, and DeAndre Hopkins got cut, which was the biggest surprise. Getting cut by the Cardinals instead of being traded. Now we say surprise because that cap hit was about $21 million, and Arizona was happy to oblige to let him go and give him his walking papers. Now, rumor has it he wants to get paid though, and I think the base is at least $18 million per. Now that takes a couple of teams. Not 18 million per. I apologize. He wants to get paid. I don't know exactly how much he wants to get paid, but he wants to get paid. He's 31 years old. He's coming off of probably his two worst seasons in his entire career. Does he have value? I believe he does have value. Will he be better suited for a playoff team, a championship caliber team? I believe so. People thought that's why Arizona got him originally, but with the injury and the whole what was it, steroids or something like that?
Yeah, you got popped for PEDs.
Yeah. So, with all that being said, it didn't actually play out the way Arizona wanted to play out, and no one was really lining up to trade for him. Now, as of today, we've heard the Patriots, which would be I don't understand why, because the Patriots don't have a real quarterback. And
I hope he goes there. That's the best alternative to the Patriots. I hope he goes there, please.
We also heard Buffalo, but they don't have enough cap. Cowboys as well. Somebody mentioned Cowboys, and some report trying to squeeze the Jets into this. And I guess this is why this gets interesting for us. And this is particularly for me, and I'll pass over to Kev to explain this for me. But the Jets are not. I guess I wouldn't say set at wide receiver, but they pretty much have their wide receiver room. Of course, we did hear names in the past like OBJ. We did hear Hopkins. We did hear him as far as the trade is concerned, but we never pulled the trigger. What are you thinking? What are your thoughts when you hear fans bringing up Hopkins at this point as a viable option to sign with the Jets?
First of all, Hopkins, the conversation after the release was kind of wild because there were just a lot. Like, we as a football watching community have a certain opinion of Hopkins. I mean, he's done it for a long time, to be fair to him. He's a Hall of Fame caliber receiver. He might not get in because he got popped for roids. I don't know if the NFL deals with roids the way baseball does, but that's another topic for another day. But it's quite clear that the NFL, yes, the Cardinals are stupid. Okay, they run themselves poorly. They're a joke. Yeah, whatever. Insert negative word here. Okay, understood. But clearly, if they could have gotten a third-round pick out of somebody, they would have took it. Like, NFL teams they're not going to spite themselves in that way. Clearly, the rest of the NFL just does not view DeAndre Hopkins the way we do. I ain't saying they right. I ain't saying they wrong. It's just clear that they just don't have an elevated opinion of the man, given that they didn't want to pay him either what his current deal is or what he was looking for as far as a restructure goes. So that being said, with the Jets part, listen, when your wide receiver one is Garrett Wilson, your wide receiver two is at this point Allen Lazard,
or Corey Davis, depending how you look at it.
You said what now?
Or Corey Davis, depending how you look at it.
And I mean, basically, they're kind of interchangeable. Like, they do a bit of the same stuff. Like, Lazard's probably a better blocker, Davis probably a better route runner by a little bit. Either way, when those guys are your wide receiver two, or they're battling to be your wide receiver two, or what have you, and a Hall of Fame caliber receiver comes available, obviously fans anyway are going to talk about it. Are the Jets themselves having these discussions? I don't know. Does Aaron Rodgers want to have these discussions? I feel like that's the first question. If he wants to have those discussions, and the Jets will too. So I don't know what's going. Like, Rodgers, knowing how he is, he's probably content with what he got. Especially, like, he's been throwing the ball to Garrett Wilson for a couple weeks now. He's probably like, all right, man, I'm good. I'm okay.
Right.
So, like, I don't know if he's exactly banging the drum for DeAndre Hopkins, but is it possible? Sure. Anything is possible. Obviously, with cap ramifications, guys can restructure this, that, and the fucking third, whatever. Anything is possible. Is Aaron Rodgers banging the drum? I have no fucking idea. Is it likely? I would say no. But depending on the market, what the market says, and what the Jets feel about their current wide receiver room, because none of us know that. Like, we could guess. None of us really know how they feel about the wide receiver room. Right. It's possible. I just would not bet on it. Like, I'd love it if it happened. Like, bring on DeAndre Hopkins, please. But I would not hold my breath waiting for it.
Yeah, I mean, I was saying we should trade for him. My idea was cut Corey Davis because we pretty much know we had when he plays, but the risk of him not playing wasn't worth having him stick around. But of course, I guess the Jets feel like, he is worth keeping around so far because things can happen, right? Definitely wasn't a big fan of Lazard or Hardman as much as other fans were a fan of those two guys. But the way I'm looking at it right now, though, is if he wants that money. Remember, OBJ wanted his money, and he pretty much got what he wanted from Baltimore, right? To everyone's surprise, like they didn't realize he was going to pay him that much,
Right.
you know, and like the Jets were even like they weren't even willing to go as far as what was it, 15 million per something like that.
Yeah, he got 15. Yeah,
Right. The Jets were even giving him 15. Not saying that Hopkins is him because he's not coming off a major injury like that, but Hopkins said he wants to. I mean, what was said, I should say, is he wants to get paid. Now, I don't think anybody's going to pay him what he wants to get paid in this season. I don't think so. I don't think any team has the cap to pay him what he wants to get paid, which could work in the Jets' favor if he has to now say, all right, let me open up my list a little bit more because we know he did the body language thing and all X, Y, and Z. But another thing that I was looking at, and he mentioned with the Cardinals being a mess, you lose Christian Kirk, right? Who possibly could have been their best receiver because he did well in Jacksonville. You lose Christian Kirk. You have issues with Kyler Murray currently. You fire your head coach. There's a lot going on in Arizona. and
yeah,
a lot of people are saying that they're tanking, and they don't know who they're tanking for. Especially when you just gave Kyler Murray that huge contract with all the incentives. It's not for Caleb Williams. They could be in a position to tank and do what the Bears did.
Don't be so sure that it's not for Caleb Williams. Now,
you think so?
It could be. I mean, who's their coach? I know they fired Cliff. It's been so long. Oh yeah, they hired the dude from the Eagles. Gannon. Okay. Defensive coordinator. Right. So like, we all know how new coaches feel about getting their guy in place.
Right.
And again, I am not a capologist. I know the basics. Don't pretend to know much further than on the cap. All I know is like I'm 35. I've been hearing how the Cowboys and Saints are in cap hell since I was like 14, and somehow it just never actually. Well, I mean, it's kind of hitting the Saints now, to be fair, but
yeah,
like it took 20 years. I've been hearing the Saints are in cap hell since Drew Brees signed there. That was 17 years ago. Like,
right.
I've been here every year without fail. Like, man, this is gonna hurt the Saints at some point. Like, okay, when? Like, when? How much time we got? When? Nah, but besides that, yeah, like he might want his guy, and maybe his guy is Caleb Williams, and that's how they feel. Or maybe they're just like, listen, fuck this season. Like, this season's a waste any fucking way. Who gives a fuck? Get all these guys up out of here, and then like bring Kyler back slowly from his ACL and see what you have in the second half of the year. I don't know exactly what they're doing. All I know is them and the Raiders are telling you exactly what kind of time they're on.
Oh yeah, the Raiders.
They're telling you exactly what kind of time they're on. Like, they don't give a fuck about this season. They're telling you exactly what kind of time they're
on. The Raiders knowingly gave Garoppolo a contract with his ankle surgery coming up and the possibility of him failing the physical. That's like, I don't know. It's not what's the opposite of a red flag? Like, you know,
right? Like, it's a neon light. It's neon. Right. Like, it's in front. Don't do this. Like, it's in neon sign. Don't do this, or not even don't do this, because obviously the Raiders don't care.
Right.
Ankle
clearly
is fucked.
Right.
It's right there in the front, and they're just like, fuck it. Who cares?
Yeah, who cares? We're gonna get him. Yeah, NFL's weird. So my thing, if the Jets were interested in Hopkins, you have to cut Corey Davis, right? You have to cut Corey Davis. Also, again, I don't see them paying him what he wants, which we don't know exactly. But if they didn't pay OBJ, they're not going to pay him upwards of $15 million a year, unless you really feel like
he's just that much better. Which,
yeah, maybe.
I feel like if they did, they would have traded the 6th rounder to go get him. Right.
And just paid him what they had to pay him. Right.
Like, I feel like that's so I feel like, listen, the longer it goes and you don't hear anything about DeAndre, I guess the Jets should be taken seriously as somebody who could swoop in. Mm-hmm. But if it happens in the next week and you start hearing his market heat up, like, I don't think the Jets will get involved, but who the fuck knows?
Yeah, I don't think they're going to compete with anybody, but this could be a situation where you don't want to be a fan and hear that they didn't try because of what he said. Because players say everything, like, oh, you know, body language, interview, and stuff like that. I want to play for it because this is GM and coach and a quarterback. Like, the Jets check a couple of boxes on that. You know, we got Joe Douglas, We have a decent coaching style. You know, I mean, this in spite of the rankings, the preseason rankings, they have him ranked, I think, 25th head coach in the league, or whatever, according to the Bleacher Report or something like that. We have a quarterback, and they're pretty much considered a postseason team. All the boxes check out for his list. Now, the whole talk about him being, wanting to, liking Bill Belichick. Hey, bro, I wish you the best. Go out there in New England and play with McCorkle.
Go sign there. Go sign there, DeAndre.
Please.
Sign there. Do it.
We welcome that.
Do it.
Yeah. Because when you're not like Kyler Murray's not an awful quarterback, but I mean, I don't know what you're going to get out of McCorkle and Bill Belichick.
I think Kyler Murray is kind of, at least if you believe all the stuff that you read, I feel like he's one of them who he's like Black Jay Cutler. Like, he's just like, okay.
Except he's not smoking cigarettes at halftime.
Yeah. Who knows what the fuck Kyler. But yeah, he's playing COD instead. That's what he's doing at halftime. But he's one of them like, okay, all the field, like, it looks good. Like, I don't know what kind of studying Kyler's doing behind closed doors. We saw the study clause in his contract that ended up taken out. I don't know what kind of work exactly he's doing, but it just looks like he's one of them guys who just don't lead anybody. Like, he go out there, play quarterback, he go home. Like, he's not really leading nobody. He's not really trying to get to know nobody. Which, listen, regular human me is like, bro, I don't want to know the fucking people I work with either. But it doesn't work when you're a professional quarterback. Like, you're the face of a $1 billion organization. It doesn't work that way. Regular civilian me is like, hey, man, fuck these people, dog. I don't want to know nobody. Like, if I want to know you, you'll know. Right. And outside of that, like, and it's never going to be me that starts the camaraderie. Like, if you started it and you want some shit that makes some sense or whatever, like, okay, we could go from there. I'm never going to pull up to No Shade and tell me, how was your weekend? Because I don't give a fuck. Like, no disrespect. No disrespect. I don't care. I don't know you. I don't give a fuck how your weekend was. I don't know you.
Right. Well, man, listen, that definitely sounds like somebody who over the weekend who was speaking about their coworker, or former coworker per se. Scottie Pippen. Michael Jordan was a horrible player. He was horrible to play with. He was all one-on-one. He was shooting bad shots. Now, I get it, Scottie. I get it. I'm kind of getting it now, right? You're mad at a lot. Scottie here is a lot to be mad at. But to sit up there and blatantly lie about Michael Jordan, and for people to be like, I agree, yeah, that's true. I'm like, how do we arrive at this point? Like, we discussed and say branding and Jordan is Teflon, and Pippen has tried ever since the Last Dance documentary, which I think the worst thing Jordan said was he felt like Scottie was selfish because he knew they was where they were at and whatever. And from Jordan, winning trumps all, right? He got his final 2 years of $30-something million a year, so he was content. But that documentary said a couple of things. One, when Jordan first retired, the Bulls could have been in good hands with just Scottie Pippen. But also, two, in crunch time, and Phil Drew will play for somebody else, he refused to get off the bench. So let's not talk about being a bad teammate. Let's not talk about that, Scottie. Being a bad teammate, we haven't forgotten how Phil Jackson Drew will play for somebody else, and you got mad, and you refused to come off the bench. And Tony Kukoc still hit the game winner. So that's one thing. The second thing was the whole contract dispute. You were told not to take that offer by the owner, who told you, like, hey, if I were you, I wouldn't sign that contract. Now, during that time in the NBA, and this is I'm not knocking people for the choices they make, but Scottie Pippen comes from a large family, and large families, we're relying on his income. So he saw that money and said, hey, I'm gonna take that money, even though he was told not to. Hey, let's chill on this, let's revisit it, or whatever. That's neither here nor there. The thing about his commentary that kind of pissed me off is the people saying they agree that he was a horrible player. I don't get the horrible player context. Maybe the horrible teammate. He punched Kerr in the face.
I think it's one and the same, and I think people are kind of just. We know how people get about Michael Jordan. Like, nobody could dislike Mike. Nobody could say anything negative about Mike. We've been down this road. Every time somebody even says somebody's better at basketball, niggas throw fits all over the place. So, like, do I think he means, like, yeah, he couldn't play basketball? No. Scottie might be out of his mind. He ain't that stupid. Like, I don't think he's that stupid, all right? Like, I personally think Scottie got some shit going on in his life. Personally,
of course,
like,
Michael Jordan Jr. is banging his wife.
Like, I see stuff like this, and my first instinct is to feel bad for Scottie. Generally, I don't think he's in a good place. And also, like, and granted, I guess this is the soft side of me coming out. I don't like seeing black men who have a history of doing great stuff together beef. Well, that's a lie. In some context, I do like it. I'm not.
Nobody liked when Rockefeller broke up, right? Nobody liked the Rockefeller breakup. So.
You know what recent thing has made me way more happy than I realized that it ever would? Cam Brown and Mace get it back together. Like, I never knew I cared up until I saw them get back together. And I see them on these sports shows having a great time. I'm like, yo, this is great. I love this. I love that these brothers came back together after whatever 20 years of not talking.
A lot.
Right.
And it wasn't no light shit neither.
Right, exactly. And they came back together, and I love that for them. I love it. But as far as Scottie and Mike, like, yeah, I don't think he meant he was a horrible player, because he also said in the same clip, like, I don't think anybody could do it by themselves. And then that was in reference to LeBron. He's like, I don't think anybody could do it by themselves. So who's all-time greatest, or who's the greatest is up to y'all. So I think it just meant, like, he's a horrible teammate, horrible player, horrible to play with is basically the point I think he really wanted to drive home, more than horrible player. But regardless, when you say that, like, you can use your words. When you say horrible player, people are going to take it at face value and run with it. And I'm not saying
they were sprinting with it.
Scottie hasn't earned any benefit of the talent. So I'm not sitting here saying anybody should contextualize shit that Scottie says. Because A, Scottie be talking. B, Scottie be flip-flopping his ass off. Like, to be fair to him, since Last Dance came out, he's been very consistent. I'll give him that much. He hasn't flip-flopped since back. But, like, before that was what, 3 years ago? Yeah, 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Before that, he flip-flopped every 2 years. They'd ask him who the best player of all time was, or how Jordan was. He'd be like, oh, it was Jordan. Oh, no, it's LeBron. Oh, no, it's Jordan. And granted, people are allowed to change their minds. I get it. And sure. And I think we do a little bit as a society, like, oh, you fickle, you flip-flop. Like, yeah, I change my mind sometimes when the fucking information changes. But in this case, the information ain't changed. Mike hasn't played in fucking 20 years. It hasn't changed.
The thing about the Jordan conversation and the arguments with the LeBron thing is we don't have to make up narratives that don't exist. And that's the thing that you're like, as a Jordan fan, and not a LeBron. I'm not a LeBron fan, but I appreciate the greatness of what LeBron is doing. I think we can bury the mythos of Jordan, because a lot of the stuff we found out was cap. Like, he didn't say that to him, or blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? But there is mythos there, so we can bury the cap of that. But when people are saying, well, Jordan didn't play against anybody, like, that's cap. He played against top 50 guys. That's cap. He played with top 50 guys. That's cap. You know what I mean? If we're saying, well, he's a horrible player, he averaged 35 in his first, before Pippen came, with 35 and 7, he was LeBron. He was doing everything. He just wasn't as successful because he was playing with the cocaine all-stars. Like, look at his rosters that he played with. I'm sorry, like, he didn't play with anybody. They brought Oakley in. They gradually brought players in. Now, one thing that I would say, though, and I think you and I said this, if Jordan played, it was Jordan in the modern time, and he played that many, he wasn't going to be in Chicago after the first 4 years on these new contracts. He'd have been done.
And that's the thing. Like,
he'd have been done. It'd have been 4 years. I'm out.
Like, and we're talking about, and don't get me wrong. When I say I'm annoyed by Jordan conversations, am I mostly annoyed by the Jordan nostalgia artist? Yes, no question. It's mostly them. But like, yo, the stuff that he played against plumbers and all that stupid shit is dumb.
Yeah.
Like, listen, I believe the level of competition now is better than it was then, because A, teams are more informed. B, teams have better players up and down the roster. And C, the schemes are more complicated. I think the level of competition is better now than it was then. Michael Jordan could only play against who the fuck was on the court with him. But this is why I don't like cross-era comparisons. Michael Jordan played in the 80s and 90s, dog. It's now 2023. Like, yes, I'm not sitting here
Right.
trying to tell nobody not to compare LeBron and Jordan. Do you? If that's what's fun for you, if that makes you happy, go ahead, bro. All I'm saying is that's why I sit on the sideline for these conversations and laugh at the dumb shit that I read, because
Right.
it then turns into, at least again from what I see, because as I said to you when we had this conversation offline, I
Mhm.
don't see the LeBron folks because they're mad young and I don't follow youngins. I don't talk to youngins. I don't follow youngins. So I don't. No jokes. Like the occasional LeBron post I see like retweeted and people dunking on them for being stupid. It's like 19-year-olds, like LBJ, the GOAT 6, like those type of
Right.
Twitter accounts. I follow them. I don't know what they're about. With Jordan, the thing is like, I'm 35. A lot of people around my age, Mike is their guy, and they're going to ride for their guy to the end. And I see a lot of otherwise smart people turn into morons anytime Mike come up. That's my problem with it. Now, I ain't say if that's what people want to do, that's what they want to do. But comparing a guy who came up, well, Jordan's rookie year was 84,
80,
84, and
yeah,
LeBron,
84.
yeah, 84. LeBron's is fucking 2003. The generations are so fucking different. It's like, what are we comparing here? You know what I mean? Like, I
Right.
get why you do it, and the stats and the resumes are so good that you could compare on that alone. Like, I'm
Right.
again, you can tell nobody not to compare anything. But what they bring up with the plumbers and this, that, and the third, and then they bring up now, oh, the era is soft and this, that, and the third. And if you put Mike in, he'd average 69 a game and whatever the fuck else. That's why, and then it's like you're missing the point while also saying the point. The point is you can't really
Right.
compare them.
We can't really
But
compare the two.
they really cannot be compared like that. They're different players in different eras. They can't really be compared like that. But people, we compare. That's what we do as sports fans. And I
Right.
love a good comparison. Like, it's just the LeBron Jordan thing has been beaten to a bloody death.
Like
That's all.
the comparison that came out today, right? And since we have time, we can let's discuss this real quick.
Mhm.
Dwight Howard was talking to the bank robber. What's his name?
Thank you. Bring this up. The bank
Yeah,
robber.
the bank robber. You know, the guy who used to play for Houston, who robbed the bank. You know what I'm talking about. Um, you know what I'm talking about, the bank robber, man. You know, Chandler Parsons. There you go, the bank robber. This was the bank robber.
You mean legalized bank robbing? Okay,
The
my bad.
legalized bank robber.
Okay, sorry,
Um,
my bad. I thought you meant somebody was out here on the run, dog. I'm like, who? Who you talking about?
I guess he Parsons asked him who was better in their prime, him or Jokic. Okay, and this is and I went back and forth with somebody I know on social media about this, but they're two opposite ends of the spectrum. Dwight Howard in his prime was the best defensive center in the league. Not the best offensive center, not the most dominant offensive center.
And quite frankly, I don't think you need the qualifier. He was just the best defensive player. I don't even think you need the qualifier. But
the best defensive player in the league. He's the only 4-time DPOY in like
I think it
history,
was
something
three.
like that.
I think it was three.
3 or 4. No, Ben. Who has 4? Somebody has 4. Either Ben
It
Wallace.
might be Wallace.
It might be. I'm gonna look it up right now.
Yeah.
But when he asked who was in their prime, and I'm just like, okay, prime Jokic is the past 3 seasons. Past 3 seasons. And it was 3-time defensive player of the year. Ben Wallace had 4. He in his past 3 years was his prime, and I think Howard's prime was that 4-year chunk. At best, offensively, Howard is 20 and 14 at best offensively. Shooting, he's a shade under 60% from the field. Horrible free throw shooter. Doesn't really pass the ball or whatever. Jokic is 20.
Yeah, DH13 DPOS.
3, yeah. 26, 12, and 8. And he led in win shares, offensive win shares, and win shares in the league win shares, offensive win shares in the past 3 seasons. When you say who was the best in their prime, I think you have to be specific on what we're talking about. Dwight Howard's prime, as much as he was dominant offensively, his dominance is on the boards and defense. That's his prime. I can't see him being prime better than Jokic. The way Jokic plays at the same height with less. I said left.
Left. You that girl from 3LW? Prometheus?
But with less athleticism, I think Jokic is the better player. I mean, it's somebody their prime. You may see it differently, But Howard was never meant to be an offensive player. He was never meant to be the best offensive player on the court. It just so happened to be that way because the team they built around him. But he wasn't ever supposed to be the best offensive player on the court. This is my opinion.
So your conclusion is that Jokic was better, right, or is better?
In his prime.
I think
prime.
That,
not like
I think that's a reasonable conclusion to draw. I agree with it. Like I think the thing with Joker is first of all his defense is not as bad as the rap would have you believe it is. He's nobody's Rudy Gobert or Dwight Howard or Ben Wallace. I get that. I'm not here to argue that. He is a functional average defender. Like it's almost to the point where he's like big man Steph Curry. Like obviously different stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But like the offense is so good that you might take them over a player who maybe is a lot better defensively but worse offensively. Like the offense is so good, and then the defense gets kind of underrated because people see him get beat every now and again, and they're just, oh, this guy's bad on defense. It's like he's functional. Like yes, he's slow footed. Okay, we understand that. All right, he's not. He's laterally challenged. Understand that too. Fine. He is a functionally average defender, and Denver's defense has been better with him on the court pretty much every year for like the last 5. So obviously he's doing something fine. And yeah, you could say what his backup centers are, what they are, blah blah. But if he was that bad defensively, it would show at some point, right? It would be problematic at some point.
Right.
The thing with Dwight is these conversations come up. First of all, people dislike Dwight Howard so much that they can't actually discuss him rationally. And I think it's for 2 reasons. One, he's a fucking weirdo. Was Howard like he's pretty normal, I guess, by his standards now, and he's not out here doing dumb, goofy shit like he was, during his peak years, prime years, whatever you want, when he was in the NBA still. So he seems to have found peace. Whatever, good for him.
Not to cut you off though. Because to get you to that weirdo part, did you hear that the Lakers asked him to come back and he said, "Let me think about it"?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, that's okay. I just want to make sure.
I did. I heard that, and then they pulled the offer, allegedly, if you believe that.
Give me 15 minutes. Let me think about it.
Give me 15 minutes. Let me think about it. The Lakers like, hey, how about we give you this tone? How about that? Click.
Fucking dummy, bro.
I'm gonna think about it. Like what? But what was there to think about? Like for real? Like you were getting a veterans minimum offer from whoever the fuck was giving it to you. Like what was there?
And you want to ring with them? Like what?
Like what was there to consider? But like there's 2 reasons. Obviously he's a weirdo. 2, and I know this might get thrown away as me hating, and that's fine. I personally think I'm being reasonable when I say this. Kobe Bryant made a lot of people hate this guy. Like when Kobe called him soft, he made a lot of people hate. He changed the opinion on Dwight Howard damn near single fucking handedly. Because nobody was talking this shit about Dwight Howard when he was with the Magic. It was just he was a great defensive player. He took the Magic to the finals, ruined the Kobe LeBron puppet magic that they had going on in the commercials, ruined that. Like he was that guy, and nobody really was talking crazy about the guy until he got traded to LA. And I understand that's part of the deal. Like you get traded to Lakers, eyes on you, blah blah blah. And then Kobe basically called him a bitch, and then that was that. And then now everybody has hated it. Not everybody, but a lot of people whose opinions change about him at that point have never wavered from that. So ultimately, like when these conversations come up, I'm glad they do. Because it's a reminder of just how fucking good he was at basketball, because sometimes that gets lost. Like Dwight was amazing at basketball. Like there were legitimate conversations, albeit I never agreed, but it wasn't something I could like argue vehemently. Like there were legitimate, like, hey, would you prefer Dwight or LeBron if you're starting a team? Those were legitimate conversations that you couldn't just laugh off. Like, yeah, I would take LeBron at the time, but in that NBA, with what Dwight was capable of doing, and the fact that you could build a top 5 defense around Dwight, me, you, and Jude. And yearly, this was happening. Like they were running Hito Turkoglu and Rashard
Lewis
and Jameer Nelson, bro. And he was running out top 5 defenses simply because Dwight was that fucking good on defense. Yeah. So I like when these conversations come with Dwight because his weirdo stuff, I'm not as bothered by it as other people, and I damn sure don't care about Kobe's opinion. So, um, I love when these conversations come up because it's forgotten how good he was, and I like to reminisce on how good he was because he was fucking great.
I think
He
I
ain't
think the
Jokic,
thing
he was great.
right. I think mostly what people try to do with Howard is the offensive thing. And somebody reminded me, is like, yo, Howard is a defensive player of the year. He wasn't supposed to be the offense. He was supposed to come and play center and be the big man, this dominant guy, but he wasn't supposed to be a 20-point scorer. I mean, I think his career high is 23. He was never supposed to be out there being a 20-point scorer. He's going to be like a 16 to 15 guy with 3 blocks a game. And that would have been fine. But they had to run the offense through him because it was hard to stop him. And they just said, let's surround him with other 6'10" guys who can shoot the ball. That's pretty much what it was. Like, we're going to give you Rashard Lewis, we're going to give you Turkoglu. And when Hercule left after they went to that finals, it was kind of over. And they tried to bring him back and duplicate what happened. It didn't work because they were like, the reason why it worked for him, because they would pass the ball into Howard into the paint, and the guys he was kicking back out to were tall. Everybody was like 6'8", 6'10", whatever. So it was like, hey, if I'm here, I'm 6'10", I'm up, and I can't get any movement, I can get it right back out to the other 6'10" dude at the top of the 3-point. Like, I think Rashard hit shooting like 40% at one point in time from 3. Mm-hmm. Like, he was no joke. So, but I just looked at it like, all right, let's not diminish Howard as a player and say he's better, and his prime years are better than Jokic's prime years. Like, Jokic didn't start the way Howard started. Jokic started on a little decline, but what he did the past 3 years, 2-time regular season MVP, just got the Western Conference playoff MVP. He's averaging a triple-double in the playoffs. Like, I'm sorry, like, Howard can't. Right.
No two ways around it.
Right. Like,
the peak of his powers is better than Dwight's. Like, yeah. I say this with no disrespect intended. Obviously, like, we're comparing 2 bad bitches. Like, that's what we're doing. Like, we're comparing 2 bad bitches. One of them is slightly better than the other one. That's where we're at with it. So, hey, Jokic is incredible. Dwight was incredible. And I hope Jokic is hoisting up the Finals MVP in about a week and a half.
Speaking of incredible, it would be incredibly bad if they lose tonight, Game 7. They're currently playing right now. I believe they have the lead.
Yeah,
we in our lifetime, we've never seen a team come down from 3-0 to get to 3-3. We're actually seeing a team have a chance to win Game 7 and do something unprecedented because teams are 0-149. We watched the Lakers get swept. LeBron get swept out of the playoffs, which we haven't seen since San Antonio.
No, 18.
18? Oh yeah, the first round. Yeah.
Finals. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Sorry, finals. Yeah. He got swept. Yeah, he got swept twice in the finals. Shit. But yeah, we've never seen a team come back down from 0-3. It's been very interesting how this is happening, though, especially with the Pippen. What's going on with Miami, man?
Listen, and I say this knowing good and well that they're up by 12 right now, and I will believe that Miami wins this game tonight when it says 0-0-0 and Eric Spoelstra and them are celebrating and there's no confetti and everybody in Boston is leaving. I'll believe they have won this series and won that game when that happens and not a second before. Now, as far as what's happening, Boston is better and decided to play like it. I know that sounds very simple, but I kind of feel like that's what it is. Because, and if we look at the last couple of years, Boston seems to do its best work when they have no choice but to do their best work. Like when they were down 3-2 last year to Milwaukee and Tatum dropped the 48 or whatever and Bradley Hunter to bring it back to Boston and they won Game 7. This year they were down 3-2 going into Philly for Game 6. Obviously they're down 3-0 or were down 3-0 and to even it up. They seem to do their best work when they have no choice but to do their best work. Mm-hmm. And the thing is with Boston, at some point, you think, hey, that's going to run out, right? That's going to at some point. Like, I feel like every team we've ever seen like that, like, they don't win. They don't get to the end because it's just at some point, I feel like the 49ers from 2012 was a good example of this. they were consistently dig themselves like the when Kaepernick got into line, they were consistently dig themselves into 14-3, 17 holes. They'd always pull their asses out of them. The Ravens went up, what was it, 21-3 in the Super Bowl, 24-3, whatever it was in the Super Bowl. And
against San Francisco?
Yeah. And they just and they were basically 5 yards from a championship. But that's the thing, when you're consistently doing that, you give yourself no room for error. You might be able to pull it off all the time, but all it takes is one at the wrong time for you to fuck your season up. So as far as the series is just Boston is better than them and is playing, or at least was before tonight, was playing like it for the last 3 games. And now here we are, now sprinkling a little bit of fucking luck because, a foul was committed on a 3-pointer with Miami down by 2 with 3 seconds left with 2.1 on the clock. They put 0.9 back on the clock. Marcus Smart has to shoot the ball in a certain way, and the ball has to bounce off the rim a certain way to even get a tip, let alone a tip 0.1 on the. I think that there are spirits at play. No, jokes aside.
No. Say the spirit that you said that play.
Bill Russell's spirit is with them. Now this is going to age very poorly if they will lose tonight. Bill Russell's spirit is with them. This is the first full NBA season since Bill Russell passed. Bill Russell passed last summer.
Bill came down and grabbed the ball and went like this.
Yeah, you see it. Bill Russell's spirit is with them.
Tap that ball in.
Do me a favor. Don't clip this if they win. If Miami wins the game, it's gonna look extra crazy. Fuck it, clip it. It's funny if they go out there and they get waxed tonight with me saying this. Like, that's extra funny. But I think the Celtics are better, and it showed the last 3 games. We'll see if they finish off the comeback. I need it to not happen because listen, dog. They come back from 3-0, they're gonna win the finals. We're gonna hear about this till we're dead. Bro, like I was watching the pregame before we got on, and they were showing the fucking bloody sock. I was like, man, please get this first, bro. Please get me up out here. I can't take it.
Yo, how much? Listen, if Tatum has like a Kobe Bryant garter belt on under his shorts, I wouldn't be surprised. If they come, I wouldn't be surprised. Like, if they win the game and he rolls up his shorts and just shows a little thigh with 24 garter belt.
We're gonna get an Instagram post with Jason Tatum. With Jason Tatum texting Kobe's phone again.
Right. We came
back, Kobe.
Somebody made the meme and said, "Stop texting me."
Yo, that was
Kobe replied and said, "Stop texting me." I was crying. So, listen, man. I'm just glad it's not the Knicks. I'm just glad it's not the and this was the scenario we blew 3-0 lead, then Kev, can you hear me?
Yes, I do.
Are we back? Okay.
All right.
Yeah, I can hear you. What the hell? Technical difficulty. Something just really happened just now. Yes. Yeah. So what I was saying was, I'm just glad it's not the Knicks. glad it's not the Knicks in this situation because God knows I don't need the Knicks being up 3-0 against Boston and losing that. Bringing up the Yankees, bloody sock moment, Kurt Schilling. Like I watched the story, like the 30 for 30 on how Boston came back, and that shit was just that was enough for me. You know what I mean? For the 30 for 30. It's
we don't.
Right. We don't need the basketball. I mean, at least not the Knicks. We don't need the basketball version to that. But the psyche right now the Heat are up by 13. I was, like you had said before, the psychology behind being up 3-0 and then blowing a lead. I don't know how you're able to come out and win. And if any team's capable of doing it, it's going to be Miami because they're playing with a bunch of guys who are playing with house money. So someone's going to step up and show up and like, hey guys, we got to win this. I don't know about history. I don't give a fuck about history. You know what I mean?
And the thing is, the variance in the NBA makes that kind of stuff possible. Mm-hmm. Like, because if you come out and you shoot like shit, as of now, the Celtics are 2 for 15 from three, and they're shooting 32% from the field.
Right.
Like that'll get you sent home. Like I don't care how much better you are than the team. If you can't hit a shot, it don't matter what the talent says, right? So like that is a problem for them right now. So
right. And your best player has only taken 2 shots so far. So I don't know if he's saving himself for the wedding night, so to speak.
Jaylen Brown's taking 11 already. Okay.
Yeah, right. Yeah. I don't know. Interesting strategy.
Get your shots up, baby. Get your shots up. Get paid, Jaylen. Right. Get your $300 million, buddy.
Because what the Heat don't want to end up being is down bad. That's what you don't want to be. You never want to be down bad. And this is, let's just put it like this. Jude's not here. No Judes Grooves. So we're going to take you. So we have opportunity to actually talk about music in a way where Jude wouldn't understand or relate to. Moments in down bad history. We're going to do the R&B version, talking about the songs, R&B songs that you know and love, and how down bad these songs were. So I'm gonna kick it off first with my first song. We'll go song for song. Throw some lyrics in there. Profile, Profyle. For those who are not familiar with Profile, group of 4. I don't remember their names, but they had that song "Liar," and the lyrics: "You ain't nothing but a lie, a cheater, deceiver, heartbreaker, and I won't let you back in my life. So I'm taking the house, the car, the kids, and the dog.
And
I
the
want
dog.
it all. And the dog.
And the dog.
How down bad is
and the dog.
You can't leave the dog. You can't leave with a dog.
Like, you can't leave the dog, bro. Like you gotta take everything, bro. Everything.
The dog.
Dog.
Yo, that is one of those songs. I like R&B. I like R&B one-offs, songs that were fire, and he probably still listens to this day. But that group is nowhere to be found. Like there's no like.
I like a good one-hit wonder.
A good one-hit wonder. I like to use the word. I like to use the term one-off instead of one-hit wonder now because the thing is, a lot of things I realize with R&B groups, they'll have a good single, and I don't think they really prepare to do the album. They just ride the wave of that single, and that's it. So it's not like it's not often R&B groups come out and have multiple hits. You know what I mean? Like multiple hits. Like there's a couple other people like As Yet last night with that song. Like I think they had 2 songs. I think tops they had 2. So I love me a good one-off. I'm not gonna say one-hit wonder because I don't know how well it did on the charts, but yes, Profile, Liar, Down Bad History. Go ahead, Kev. Song for song.
Listen, yo, He's Mine by Moke and Steph. Yo, one of the funniest openers I've ever heard, dog. Mm-hmm. He might be doing you, but he's thinking about me. Like that's how the song opens. Like that's not like the 5th line, the 6th line, the 7th line. No, the first line is he might be doing you, but he's thinking about me. Like you may have had him once, but I had him all the time. Like, sis, stand up. Like, why are you letting this man do this to you? Stand up. Like he don't give a fuck about you clearly because he fucked old Becky or whoever the fuck. And now you talking crazy talking about talking about you may have had him once, but I had him all the time. Like, why are you talking to her like this? Like, he's the one in the relationship who was fucking around. Why are you talking to her? Like, why are you talking to her like this? And like, just the beginning part, the first line being that is crazy to me. You may have had him once, but I got him all the time.
All
What?
the time.
What? Like, that's your response to him getting some new coochie?
You may have had it once. Yo, all right, I got you. I got you. You Mario Winans. I don't want to know.
Oh, I was gonna go with that next.
Somebody said they saw you.
The person you
the
were
person you were
kissing
kissing wasn't me. I
Listen.
would never ask. Yo, I would never ask you. I just kept it to myself. I don't want to know if you're playing me. Keep it on the low because my heart can't take it. Listen, man. This man
your heart can't take it anymore. So like this has been going
for a
on
while.
clearly, and your heart can't take it anymore, bro.
If you creeping, he said, please don't let it show. He said, listen, man, babe, if you cheating, I don't want to see it,
bro. But the thing, here's the thing though. Like the lyrics are bad enough, bro. My man was in the video singing in a bathtub, fully clothed, bro, full clothes on, full fit, chain and all that.
It wasn't until I saw 13 Reasons Why when I realized like that was a suicide tub. That was a cry for help. Like he was going to do something to himself in that bathtub and hope somebody find him fully dressed with his chain and his chain
fully
on.
dressed, chain on in the bathtub, singing his heart out about how he can't take it no more. He don't want to know.
Ooh, bro. Yo, did he ask questions? Did he touch you better than me? Did he watch you fall asleep?
I thought you said you didn't want to know. So if you didn't want to know, why you asking questions?
Those things that you used to do to me. Yo, that
you don't want to know, but that he asking 99 questions.
Yo,
what the fuck is going on? But he was really in the bathtub, bro. Fully clothed with the chain on, singing
in the bathtub. Down bad. Listen, what you got for me?
Maybe I Deserve by Tank is one of the most sucker songs ever written.
I think the video is a sucker video too, because
yes, yes it is. Yes it is, bro. Maybe I deserve for you to go out and find some other guy. Maybe I deserve for you to stay out with him all night. What? What kind of sucker shit is this guy on, bro? What is this?
Yo,
like, and you're just gonna stay around while she's doing all of this for real? Like that's where you're just gonna stay around while she's. You said what?
That was reverse psychology.
Yes. Yes.
Like, look, I know I ain't shit, but please. He's like, how can I make sure she don't get me back? I'm gonna play.
But the thing is, that's not gonna stop her because clearly she has a history of this, so it's not gonna stop her. She doesn't care about your little maybe I deserve. Because guess what? If you say maybe you deserve, maybe you actually do fucking deserve it because you wasn't shit. Maybe you actually do fucking deserve the shit because you wasn't shit. So that's not gonna stop somebody who's already cheating from doing more cheating.
He was like, he went deep on that song to grab your coat and chase you down the street.
That was so dramatic.
You own security, yeah.
For you to say, yes, I cheated on you.
I don't care, because after all I put you through, maybe I deserve you.
Oh my god. Nah, that man's a sucker. That's some sucker shit, bro.
Oh, yo. Down bad. All right. You know I gotta go. You know where I gotta go with the next down bad song, man. Carl Thomas Emotional. opening line is, "I knew you when I had a friend." That sounds like the girl that he was speaking with, he already had a shorty. Live with him. But and I don't know what's going on. I think I'm back. Am I back?
Yeah, I got you now.
Yeah, man. This is ruining the fucking
They're fucking
momentum.
up our flow, man.
Flow, man. Um, yeah, that sucks because we had a lot of stuff. We have to revisit this again.
Yes, we do.
This is fucking killing me. Um, Shout out to everybody though who fans of the show, support us, love us, and everything like that. 10,000 downloads again. Like I said, it wasn't hard, wasn't easy. I should say it was very hard work. We appreciate you guys, and you guys basically put us on the map. That was the whole point of us getting the 10,000, so other people can see us. And thank you. We appreciate you guys. Hopefully, we'll be talking again 10,000 more. Any final thoughts, Kev, before we go?
Just what my display name is. Somebody beat the Celtics. The Heat are currently doing it. Hopefully that keeps up.
Yes, beat the Celtics. So Kev can have a peaceful night.
Yes, please. Baby.
Stay inspired by 69, y'all. Peace. Have a good one.